Today, we're breaking down a really key tool that you might not have heard of, but it helps keep the whole digital world running. It's called FluentDead, and it's a major focus in the book Logging in Action.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about a massive problem in modern tech. Then, we'll introduce the solution, Fluenty, and get a look under the hood at how it works. And finally, we'll see why it has such a huge impact, especially in the cloud.
Okay, first things first, let's set the stage, because we need to understand a problem that every single online service faces. I mean, everyone, from tiny startups all the way up to the tech giants. Just think about it for a second. You have hundreds, sometimes thousands of different services all running at the same time. They're all constantly chattering, sending updates, and creating this deafening storm of information. It is frankly absolute chaos. And this creates a huge challenge. See, every single one of those little components generates a constant stream of text. We call them logs. So when something inevitably goes wrong, the clue you need is buried somewhere in that mountain of data. How in the world are you supposed to find that one critical error message in all that noise? So now let's talk about the tool that was designed specifically to fix this, to wade into that information overload and bring some serious order to all that chaos. In simple terms, you can think of FluentD as a kind of universal translator or maybe a super efficient postal service for data. Its entire job, its whole reason for existing, is to create a single unified logging layer. It grabs messages from everywhere and then routes them exactly where they need to go. Now, this really helps put Fluent into perspective, because it's not the only tool out there doing this. You've probably heard of Logstash, which is a big part of the popular Elk stack. But a key reason people choose FluentD is its efficiency. It's really lightweight, which means it uses fewer resources, and that saves money. Plus, it's a top-tier project in the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, the CNCF, which gives it a ton of credibility. So, how does FluentD actually do it? How does it bring order to all that chaos? Well, the core idea is beautifully simple. It creates a reliable pipeline for all of that data to flow through. This diagram pretty much shows you the whole process at a high level. You've got data coming in from all these different sources. Then FluentD does its thing right there in the middle, and then it sends that nicely processed data out to its final destination. Let's break down each of these three stages. It all really boils down to this three-step flow. First up is input, which is all about gathering the data. Second is filter and buffer, where it gets processed and stored safely. And finally, you have output, where it's delivered. So let's take a look at each of these, starting with input. Okay, so first the data comes in. You can think of this stage as the front door. Fluent can listen to just about anything you can imagine. Regular system logs, data coming from web servers over HTTP, raw network traffic, even logs coming straight from application frameworks. It's really designed to be a universal recipient. Right, so once that data is inside, it hits the filters. And this is where the real magic happens. That raw, messy, unstructured data gets parsed and given a proper structure. It can be cleaned up, enriched with extra information, and sorted using really powerful pattern matching rules to pull out only what's important. And finally, after all that processing, the clean, structured data is routed out. And just like it can listen to almost anything, it can send data almost anywhere. You can send it to a database, into cloud storage like Amazon S3, push it to analytics tools like Splunk. You can even have it fire off an immediate alert in a Slack channel. But what makes FluentD so powerful isn't just this core pipeline. That's amazing. But the real game changer is the incredible flexibility that's built around it. And this is the key to its adaptability, a massive ecosystem of over 500 plugins. These are basically add-ons, and most of them are built by the open source community that just supercharge what FluentD can do. These plugins are like universal adapters. You need to pull logs from an Amazon service? Yep, there's a plugin for that. You want to set an urgent alert to PagerDuty? There's a plugin for that too. Store data in MongoDB? Visualize it in Grafana? You guessed it, there are plugins for all of them. This is what makes FluentD a true universal connector. So this brings us to the big picture, where this technology has become absolutely essential. We're talking about the very heart of the modern internet. And this is exactly why FluentD is so important today. This isn't some obscure niche tool. It is a core piece of the cloud-native world. It's a graduated project of the CNCF. That's the same organization that manages Kubernetes.
In fact, for Kubernetes, it's pretty much become the standard for logging, and all the major cloud providers have built integrations for it directly into their platforms.
At the end of the day, it's all about reliability. It's about taking that chaotic storm of raw data that we started with and transforming it into clean, actionable intelligence. And that intelligence is what lets developers and engineers debug problems fast and keep all of our digital services running smoothly. And this all leads to a really powerful idea. Just imagine, what if every single piece of data from every system in an organization could be captured, structured, and routed to tell a complete, coherent story? Well, that's the real promise of unified logging, and it's a goal that tools like Fluenty are helping make a reality.